I'm Mara, 28. At dinner, my sister raised her glass and said I should eat in the kitchen because adopted kids don't sit with the real family. The table howled. While they wiped tears, something in me went still. I smiled, reached into my purse, and set an envelope on Mom's good china. The room hushed like a theater before the cruel line. "You might call your attorneys," I said. "We meet tomorrow about Mom and Dad's will." It didn't start here. Rewind 6 months. The virus hit them days apart. Nathan, Elise, and Brooke fretted about exposure and sent hearts by text. I packed a bag. Kareem kept our kids, Nora and Leo, while I lived between hospital halls and the house that smelled of eucalyptus and worry. Nurses learned my name. Doctors slid consent forms toward me. When Mom needed an experimental waiver, my pen found the line. When Dad's lungs failed at 3 a.m., I slept in a plastic chair and woke with pins in my spine. Mom died on a Tuesday with my hand around hers. Dad followed Friday. "Take care of Mara," he breathed. I thought he meant my grief. The funeral played like a movie. Black suits, cameras, siblings performing devotion they hadn't practiced. Old aches flared, the untagged photos, the forgot you invites, the jabs about not being really theirs. After the burial, they shifted to practical matters. Appraisals, accounts, jewelry. Brooke planned a proper family dinner at her place, if I cooked. Elise wanted the bakery rolls Mom loved. Nathan wanted my organizational skills. I said yes. Hope is stubborn. That yes is how we returned to this table, the envelope waiting like a fuse. Brooke's dining room gleamed like a magazine spread. We traded soft stories, the kind that go down like overly sweet tea. I began to breathe easier until dessert, Mom's apple pie on gold-rimmed plates. Brooke cleared her throat. "Before we finish," she said, "there's the estate." Her hostess' smile had edges. Nathan leaned in, banker voice engaged. "Legally, inheritances follow the bloodline unless provisions are specific." Elise polished a fork. "No one wants to exclude you, Mara. But the house, the investments, this is serious. Let's be practical." My pulse leveled. I'd heard this melody for years. Tonight it finally had lyrics. "Mom and Dad didn't rank their children," I said. "Not by DNA, not ever." "That's what parents say," Brooke replied. "It's not how wealth works." Kareem's earlier advice flashed. If they show you who they are, don't argue, document. I slid the envelope to center. "Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Porter and Ames. You're welcome to attend." They traded looks. Nathan tried an olive branch. "Be reasonable. Waive your share of the house and we'll make sure you're comfortable." "I'm comfortable," I said, standing. "It's a chair pulled to a table I set." I boxed my dishes. Elise followed. "Mara, be fair." "Fairness," I said, "isn't a synonym for surrender." Outside, the air was a clean blade. I drove past dark shop fronts and sleeping porches, hands steady on the wheel. At home, Kareem waited by the porch light. I told him enough for his jaw to clench, then to soften. He kissed my forehead, a small benediction. "Tomorrow," he said. "Tomorrow," I echoed. Morning would be fluorescent halls, a long table, and a steady voice reading what love decided months ago. The conference room smelled of paper and lemon polish. George Porter, our parents' lawyer, greeted us calmly and opened a thick folder. "Your parents revised their will 8 months ago," he said. "They were lucid and deliberate." He read. The language marched. The house, investments, policy. Everything to me, with instructions for Nora and Leo's education and a fund for caregiving families at the hospital. A no-contest clause locked the door. Nathan stood. Undue influence. George didn't blink. They signed privately, witnessed, recorded. They cited Mara's caregiving and your absence. Any challenge forfeits heirlooms. Elise's face crumpled. Brooke stared as if the table had tilted. I thought of Mom's lavender lotion, Dad's rough hand, and my throat burned, not from triumph, from love that still ached. "I'll honor their wishes," I said. "If you want memories, show up, match the hospital fund, and I'll share recipes and photos." Silence. then the rustle of surrender. Outside, sun glazed the lot. Kareem squeezed my palm. They chose you. They chose what I chose, showing up, I said. Weeks became lists. Signatures, locksmiths, appraisals. I walked the house room by room, keeping the quilt Mom stitched. Dad's pocket knife, the mixing bowl with flower ghosts. The rest would be sold to air out shadows. I set the fund in their names and finally slept. On Sunday, I hosted dinner, our table. Kareem grilled. Nora taught Leo to fold napkins like boats. I set out Mom's apple pie. We ate, laughed together, and read the fund's first thank you letter from a nurse, relieved by a small grant. Grief stayed, but it learned its place. Love led. And I, at last, sat at my own table, no permission required.